Hey guys, welcome back to the Paper Lion. I'm back today again. I'm going to try to record a bunch of videos today. This is another request that someone named Phyllis Johnson, one of my subscribers, Phyllis Johnson, requested over a month ago. And I am so sorry for just now getting around to it, but I've been super busy trying to get things. But I didn't forget you, Phyllis Johnson. What she wanted to see was a seam binding video. So what we're going to do, this may be a fail video. If so, we'll just laugh it off and keep it moving. But what we're doing today is we're going to be working with seam binding. I went out and searched. That's one reason why it took a while, because I was looking for seam binding and I went to several stores and I did not find it. So I kind of settled on this soft hem tape. The reason I settled on this is because it's made out of 100% polyester. The same as seam binding. So we're going to play around with this and see if this works. We got navy and white, and also I am going to cut a piece of my already pre-made seam binding. I'm going to wet it and take out the crinkle and see if some of the techniques that I'm going to try today will work on that. But before we get started with this video, I had a knock on the door and a package arrived for me. It's not like a Happy Mail or anything. I'd love to get Happy Mail, but it's not a Happy Mail. This one is something I ordered off of Mercari. I've been wanting an embossing machine, an embossing die cut machine for a while. I don't think that it's heavy. Ooh. My little girl is in here. She wanted to see me unbox it, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that on camera really quick before I started the video. I think it's gonna need some parts. This is my first time ever buying like an embossing machine, and of course it's keep it down. It's pre-owned, so I don't know what all comes with it. I think it's just the actual embossing machine. It's a Cuttlebug. So if you guys know, if you have a Cuttlebug and you know what parts I need for this, please let me know in the comments, because as I said, I've never owned one of these before, so don't know for sure what's needed. I know I have a couple of embossing folders that I picked up at the thrift store in hopes of one day getting an embossing machine. I thought that I was getting rid of my address on here. I don't know if I can blur that out with something, but I'll try to in editing. And I also I thought I was blurring out everything, the sender's information and my information. So I'll try to see if I can edit that out in the editing part. But anyway, if you guys, this is from a seller on Mercari. So I got a little card. Thank you for your purchase, Doughboys Treasures. So far so good. The packaging looks good. So this person is on Mercari. So he has a bunch of cool little stuff. He does resell. So check him out. Also, okay, so the packaging looks good so far. And here we go. This is, ooh, it's heavy. It's this style. Ooh, let's get this box out the way. This is great paper. You'll probably see this in some of my projects, because that's always good background texture. So let's open this up real quick. How does this work? Obviously, as I said, it's not new. It's a pre-loved one, I guess. Okay. Now, I did see the pictures of it open. Oh. Okay, so it opens back here. So, okay, there's a really big space here. What do I need for that? Because I know it's missing something. No, this is the handle. Oh, what is it missing, guys? Because there's I know it's missing something because I know my embossing folder is not going to be thick enough to fit through there. So if you guys in the comments know what I need to add to this to get it to actually emboss and die cut, please let me know. So anyway, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Ugh. But please, that's another reason why I wanted to open it on the camera, because I'm not sure, and I don't know if you guys or, you know, somebody out there might know something. And if you know something, share something. All right. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, I hate this silicone mat because it picks up every single little thing. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna wet these because we're gonna be using our blow dryer today, our heating tool, and then we're gonna try some fun techniques to try to see how it works with, because the video that I saw, she actually took the wet seam binding and she like scrunched it up and bound it with rubber bands, and she left it out to dry for like days. So what I'm gonna do is see if we can possibly speed that method up by doing some of the little play arounds that I'm doing today. So anyway, I'm gonna wet this, and that's why I got my silicone mat down so it doesn't wet anything up, and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Right off the bat, I can tell that there is a difference between the hem tape. Obviously, it's a different thing. And the seam binding. They both are thoroughly wet. I did dry some of the moisture out. I wrung some of the wetness out. But this one, the reason I chose this one to see if it would alternate for this is because this is made out of 100% polyester, just like this one is. This one, the texture is, they're both quite thin, but this one doesn't seem to hold the water. Maybe because this one was already pre-crinkled that it looks like that. So anyway, we're going to just do a couple of tests. Like I said, this could be a pass or it could be a fail. And I'm not going to use all of it because if it doesn't work, what I'll end up doing is what the lady did in her video of the seam binding. If I can remember what video it is, I will link that below as well. So what we're going to do, the first one is we're going to try to do the crinkle test and see if we can speed up the time for drying for this. So what I'm going to be doing is basically using my handy dandy heating tool, aka a blow dryer. I'm going to fast forward through this part so that you guys don't have to hear all the noise, and also it'll cut down the video time. Alright, so we're going to start with this blue one. We're going to crinkle it up, rub it into like a little circle, crinkle it up as much as we can, and then I'm going to turn this on high with hot heat, and we're going to try to blow dry this and see how this works. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought that everything was just going to sit here all nice. Excuse me, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, already. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get these off to the side. I don't know where my seam binding went, but I've already got some seam binding on the side. And yeah, let me see if I can just direct my heat. Oh my God, I don't know what I was doing. All right, here we go. Okay, I think this one feels pretty dry in my hand. I'm gonna say already that I can tell before I open my hand up that it's not doing what I want it to do. So let's see. Well, I mean, oh, well, don't. If you use your heating tool, don't put it directly on the thing. I mean, I guess you could. I technically, yeah, this part crinkled up a little bit. I had it on high heat at first, and I put it directly on the dryer, and that was a fail because it has now, well, it kind of melted it a little bit right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. It kind of, it crinkled, but not quite. Now this still is, workable. It still gave it a texture. It gave it some bends and some folds. Okay, so now that, I have no idea where my other one flew to. Just a second. Okay, now this is the original seam binding. Let's cut a little piece of this and see if that technique will work on this one. And basically what I did was I crumpled it up and then I put it in the hollow of my hand and then funneled the air through like that, the cool air. I didn't do hot at first. I was doing hot, but it was burning my skin. So let's try again. Be right back. Okay, already I can tell that there is a big difference. This was blow dried with the same method as, where did it go? As this piece was. Huge difference. Huge difference already. So, one for, what is this, seam binding, 0 for ham tape. All right, so let's go with the second little test. This is the last test that I have. I wanted to see if I could get it to spiral, do like a spiraling. So what we're going to do is basically, I'm using actually this is probably not the smartest thing, but I'm going to use it on the cool setting. And I'm just going to wrap this wet seam binding around here. And we're going to see if we can get like a spiral effect by drying it this way. Actually, that probably won't dry as well if I clump it up like that. So let's kind of spread it out a little bit. And let's just cut it there. Okay. All right, same thing, cool air on high. Okay, it's pretty much dry. And I'm using, I don't know if I mentioned, this is a metal chopstick. You could use a wooden chopstick. If you don't have chopsticks, you can use a pencil or pen. Just something that you can spiral it around. And we're going to slowly pull that off and see what we're left with. There we go. Now this is with the seam binding. And so they gave you like a little spiral curl, like a little Shirley Temple curl. for you, for those of you out there who might remember Shirley Temple. All right, so, and this one is not completely dry, so I took it off a little bit because, you know, for the sake of the video. But as you can see, the seam binding is holding its shape that way. Now we're going to try it with a little bit of this, a little bit of the hem tape, and see what kind of result we can get with this one. Let's see if it's going to play nicely or not. Already, it doesn't wrap as well as the seam binding. It's a little, a lot stiffer, even though it's made out of the same material. I think what the difference is in the construction, because I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that after I've gotten through with this. I can already tell this one is going to be difficult. All right, cut a little bit of this off. Okay. Okay, that still gave a little bit of something. I don't know how long it'll stay in that shape. I don't think it'll stay in that shape very long. No. No, not really. So let's see. Where is the piece that I twisted like that? So this versus that. And then we got this one versus this one. What can I say? Seam binding and hem tape, although they are made both out of 100% polyester, behave totally different when you're trying the techniques. Now, I will not be trying this technique on camera, but if you cannot get hem tape, you know, seam binding, then try. I actually am going to try it, but off camera. I'm not gonna like put it in this video, but I'm gonna try it myself off camera, and then in a later video, if it turns out right, then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'm gonna take this bundle of wet hem tape, and I am going to crunch it and munch it up, and then I am going to secure it with rubber bands and let it dry for a few days outside as instructed in the other video when she was using seam binding, and we'll see if, and I'll see if that does anything. But just blow drying it, trying to do a quick method, it really doesn't do anything. Now, if in a pinch you can't find seam binding, hem tape is still great for making ribbons, you know, and adding for projects. And it's very inexpensive at Hobby Lobby. And if you play around with it, you can manipulate it a little bit to give you some crinkles if you have patience. If you have patience. The twist around method does not seem to work with the hem tape. And what I was going to show you about the construction is, if you can see these side by side, you can see that this one is like dotted through with some texture there. Can you see the shiny bits of texture there? And around the edges, it seems like there's some kind of pattern there around the edges. Now this is, like I said, it's absolutely perfect to do ribbons, you know, or accents on pages. And then this one, if you can see, it's completely smooth throughout. There are no added textures to it. So that could play a huge part, I'm not a scientist, but I think that plays a huge part in how one behaves over the other. The one thing that I will say about this one is it dries at a much quicker rate than the seam binding does. So I will say that for it, but the seam binding, of course, wins when it comes to holding its shape and being altered. As I said, I will try off camera the other method, but let me know, guys. I think trying to use hem tape in the same way that I use this to try to do these methods, I think it's a fail for hem tape. Seam binding still, I think, wins in holding its shape better. But like I said, in a pinch, if you cannot get it, you know, because I couldn't get it. The only way I got this seam binding is I just happened to find this in it was in a lot, you know, in a bag that I did on one of my haul videos. And I can't find it. I went to several stores looking for it, can't find it. And I looked online to see if I could buy some online, but it's quite expensive to buy it from other people who are already like crinkling it up. So that's why I tried to make this video to see if we could find alternatives if you can't find it. Again, cheap alternative is the hem tape, but it just doesn't hold up to the crinkle and flexibility or like shapeability of the seam binding. So anyway, guys, I hope that you learned something from that. I learned something from that. This will definitely not go to waste, the hem tape. I will definitely be using that for, you know, for projects. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here through this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any other tips or tricks using hem tape, because before I started, you know, looking around to do this video for Phyllis Johnson, I didn't even know what hem tape was because I'm not a seamstress or anything like that. So I'm still new to like sewing and all that kind of stuff, but it will be put to use. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I hope to see you guys in the next video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We do all kinds of stuff on this channel. My regular subscribers, thank you guys for coming back to watch this video and watch me do this fail. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know in the comments what you think. And until the next video, bye!